Hello and welcome. Today we'll be talking about how to apply for the Florida Bright Futures Scholarship. This application will allow you to be considered for eligibility for this scholarship. Before you start, please make sure that you have some information handy. You'll need to know your social security number along with your basic demographic information such as your name, address, date of birth, phone number, and email address. We will walk you through the application process in just a few moments, so if you need to, pause this video while you get those documents handy. Alright, to get to the application website, you are going to type into a browser www.floridastudentfinancialaid.org, and then you will be directed to the Office of Student Financial Assistance page, which looks like this. So go ahead and do that and make sure that you are on this page. Alright, now that you're on this page, you will click on State, Grants, Scholarships, and Applications to launch the Bright Futures website. So here we are on the Bright Futures website, which looks like this, and I'm now going to walk you through all the steps you need to know to create your account. Alright, step 1 for creating your account, you're going to click on Create a Student Account. And then you'll be brought to a profile screen. On the profile screen, you will put in your social security number, your first name, middle initial if you have one, your last name. You'll note that there's a red asterisk. These are all the required fields that you must complete in order to start your application. So you'll continue on with your date of birth, high school graduation date, and I will let you know, for those who do not know, our high school graduation date for the class of 2021 is scheduled for May 29, 2021. So go ahead and put that in for your high school graduation date. You will continue by putting in your gender, ethnicity, race, and then your contact information, your address, including your city, state, and zip code. For phone number, put down the student's phone number. For alternate phone number, I recommend that you put a parent's phone number. Choose whether or not you want to receive text message alerts, and then put down the student's email address. We recommend that you put an email address that you are likely to check and that you will have access to even after you graduate from high school. So do not use your school email, but a personal email such as a Gmail or other account. For alternate email address, I do recommend that you use a parent's email address just so that they can help and assist you if you ever need to retrieve any account information. When you're finished, you'll click Submit. Alright, the next step, after you have submitted your profile, you will see a screen that tells you that you've successfully completed your profile. You're going to want to take a screenshot of this page so that you can remember your user ID, your password, and your email address. These are important and you will need to save them so that you can log in at a later time to check your Bright Futures status. So go ahead and take a minute to take a screenshot or write that information down, and make sure that you keep it somewhere safe that you can go back to at a future time. After you finish recording this important information, you will be automatically directed to the rest of the application. So make sure that you stay on this application, or you can click here to complete your application, which will bring up the next important window. Alright, so when you continue with the application, your application will show your information. This is a practice screen, so it doesn't show any student information, but yours will show the information that you just entered. And so you can just look over it and make sure that everything looks correct. In addition to the demographic information, you'll see that there are different tabs for the scholarship. Everyone will complete the academic background tab. And then there are some additional scholarships that some students may apply for depending on if they meet the criteria. and we will talk about that later, but those are the next few tabs. So not everyone will complete these tabs. So everyone will do the demographic information and academic background, but not necessarily complete all of these additional scholarships that you're going to find out about in a moment. All right, so the demographic information continued. You are going to answer the question, is Florida your state of legal residence? And then what is your citizenship status? There's an important question here. Please make sure that you answer this correctly, because a wrong answer can prohibit you from being qualified for the Bright Futures Scholarship. The question asks if you've ever been found guilty of or entered a plea of non-contendere to a felony charge. So go ahead and read that. If you're not sure what the answer is, check with your parents. Hopefully your answer will be no, that you've never been found guilty. And of course, this is an individual question for each student depending on their own circumstances. These next questions, these will help determine if you need to apply for any additional scholarships that are offered through the state of Florida in addition to Bright Futures. So read them carefully and then select yes or no. The first one wants to see if you are a dependent child or spouse of a veteran who has been classified as deceased or 100% disabled, prisoner of war, or missing in action by the Department of Veteran Affairs. If you answer yes, you are required to provide the veterans information in the CSDDV section by the April 1 program deadline in order to be considered a timely applicant. The next asks if you are a descendant of a family member that was affected by the Rosewood incident in Florida during the 1920s. Again, if the answer is yes, you'll be required to provide that information, which would be your ancestor's name in the Rosewood section by April 1 to be considered for that program. The next question asks if you or one of your natural parents were born in a Hispanic country or territory of the Caribbean, such as Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Central or South America. If the answer is yes, you are required to provide additional information in the Jose Marti section by the April 1 program deadline in order to receive an evaluation. And then the last question asks, are you a farm worker or a dependent child of a farm worker as defined in Florida statutes? So please take a moment to correctly answer each one of these questions and then select the next button. After you choose the next button, you will be on the academic background screen. The first question asks, will you graduate? Or have you graduated from a public or private high school, home education program, or with a GED within the state of Florida? So for all of our Satellite High class of 2021 students, you are going to select yes, that you will graduate. There is another question that asks if, and this only applies to certain students, if you will graduate from high school while living with a parent or guardian who is on military or public service assignment away from Florida. Will you graduate, or have you graduated with a high school diploma from a non-Florida high school? So that is only for those students. And if you do answer this, then they ask for the parent or guardian information. All right, the next question asks you to select your Florida high school graduation option from the drop-down menu. And then you will select the Florida district where you will graduate with a high school diploma. And for satellite, of course, that's going to be Brevard County. Then it asks you to select the Florida high school where you will graduate with a high school diploma. So for our Satellite High graduates, you will look for Satellite High School. And then there are some more questions asked, and these are only for home education students. So for Satellite High School students, these most likely will not be applicable to you unless you are a home education student. And then the last question asks if you are an Advanced International Certificate of Education ACE or International Baccalaureate IB student, which we do not have those programs at Satellite High, so the answer would be no unless you are not enrolled at Satellite High and you are enrolled in a school and who has that program and you are participating in that program. And then when you are finished, it will bring you to the next screen. All right, the next part of the academic background. This first question is always a tricky one. It asks, have you or will you earn a baccalaureate degree? A baccalaureate degree is a 4-year college degree, not a high school diploma. So please check no. If you've already earned a baccalaureate degree, you wouldn't be applying for the Bright Future Scholarship because you would not be eligible. In the fall of 2021, I will be classified as. Now, from the drop-down menu, even if you've taken dual enrollment classes or you'll be getting your AA degree, you will be considered a first-time in college student. And it's important to choose that status as first-time in college because you can get special preferences with scholarships and housing. So we do encourage you to choose first-time in college. The next question asks, what is the location and name of the primary post-secondary institution you're planning to attend? So you need to decide, are you going to be in-state or out-of-state? And then from the drop-down menu, you're going to choose the school that you most likely think that you will attend. And if it's not listed, you can enter the institution's name here. And you can also add in up to 4 additional schools if you're still making a decision and you want to put in some additional schools. Then click Next when you are finished. All right, these next few screens may not be something that you will complete. Again, it depends on how you answered those questions at the beginning of the application. So just for the students that answered yes to the question about scholarships for children and spouses of deceased or disabled veterans, that is CSDDV, you will see this screen. You will need this information from your parents. You'll need to know the qualifying veteran's name, first, middle, and last name, their status, their branch of service. From the drop-down menu, you'll choose the military conflict, what state they were a resident of when they were initially determined deceased or 100% permanently and totally disabled, prisoner of war, or missing in action, and then finally their social security number or their veterans claim number. There are 3 additional questions that are asked for this scholarship. You can go ahead and fill these out. It asks if your parent, child, or sibling has been awarded the scholarship in the past, and then if yes, provide their name. They also ask you to provide the veteran's email address and phone number if applicable. Then click Next. The Jose Marti Scholarship Challenge Grant has just a couple of questions. If this scholarship is something that you checked yes for in the first menu, you will need to answer these questions. From the drop-down menu, please select the Hispanic country/territory of the Caribbean, Central or South America where you or one of your natural parents were born. And then it asks if you are awarded a Jose Marti Scholarship Challenge Grant, do you give the Florida Department of Education permission to release your name, address, phone number, etc. So again, complete these and then click the Next button. The Rosewood Family Scholarship, if you checked yes to this, you will fill in the information about your ancestor. So you will fill in their first, middle, last name, and then you'll answer the questions about has your parent, child, or sibling been awarded this scholarship in the past, and if yes, provide their name, and then read the statements on this page and click Next to continue. And again, you may not see this if you didn't check yes, but if you did check yes to the Florida Farm Workers Student Scholarship Program, you will need to enter this information to verify your parents' farm worker status. And so please be sure to read this carefully, provide the information, and when you are finished, you will click the Next button to proceed. When you have finished your application, you will see a Submit/Acknowledge page. It tells you, do not forget to submit your application below. Be sure to read the certification statements. You can go back and check to make sure that everything is complete. Then when you're finished, click Submit. And it says to avoid errors or delays, only click the Submit button one time. So make sure you click it one time and that you're patient while it submits the application. You will see a pop-up window that tells you success. Your Florida financial aid application FFAA has been updated successfully. Please review a summary of your application on the Results tab. Click Close, and then it will bring you to the Results tab. So here's the Results tab. This is the last page that you'll see. It shows you what scholarships you're going to be considered for. So for most students, it'll just show the Florida Bright Future Scholarship Program, and the deadline for this year is August 31, 2021. If you completed any of the additional scholarships, you'll see those listed up here under programs that you're being evaluated for. And then whichever scholarships you are not eligible for will be listed under ineligible programs. All right, and this is pretty much the end of the application. You can log back in at any time to check your status, so I will show you that. So to log back in at any time and check your status, from the main page, which was floridastudentfinancialaid.org, you will click on Log In, and then you'll enter in your username and password that you originally had when you first made the account, and it will show you your application status. So make sure again to write down that information and keep it somewhere safe. For more information, or if you need to contact someone about your Bright Futures status, visit www.floridastudentfinancialaidsg.org. You can also contact customer service at 800-827-2004. You can also email the Office for Financial Aid. And then there are some additional websites that provide information. You can also contact your high school counselor for general information about Bright Futures, and we are happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and congratulations on completing this important step to be considered for a Bright Futures scholarship.